So Phil here at BPM Pro with Jazzy Jeff.
Yes.
No introductions necessary, my man. The DJ's DJ, I would say. 30 plus years in the game, even only I've been doing it longer than you. You've gone a lot further. Everyone knows this guy because, of course, Summertime was the hit that everyone's grandma still knows and loves with Will Smith. But he has, since that illustrious beginning, he's been everywhere. Underground, overground, around the world, God knows how many times. So really, I want to know a bit about your success today. How was it out there, by the way? How was the gig?
It was great.
Yeah.
It was great. You don't really get a chance to play for people that's not dancing. Like sometimes you just want to play some music.
We were at a trade fair, by the way, if you're just watching this randomly online, and it's a trade fair.
Yeah.
There's people who come here to see gear and buy PA systems, and there's a big arena in the middle where this guy was doing his stuff.
So that was special. I'm excited because I'm a geek, so I was trying to contain myself from walking around looking at everything, but I have off tomorrow, so I'm gonna do that tomorrow.
Yeah, well, that's good. That's good. Put your cap and glasses on, or you'll be mobbed. So I was going to ask you about your set because he's just played a set that was, it was eclectic with a capital E. It went absolutely everywhere from kind of 8-bit game tunes to classic Philly soul and everything in between. It's all about records, isn't it? Really, DJ?
It's all about records.
It's all about your music.
Yep.
And that showed in your set. It showed an absolute love of music, right to the heart.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to say that. But one thing it is also about, and you just mentioned it, is technology.
Yeah.
And you had a Serato blip 48 hours ago. I know because I follow you on Twitter.
Yeah.
Tell us what happened.
Well, it wasn't really Serato's fault. It was my fault.
Oh, of course not. No.
Other
DJ softwares are available.
Yeah. I was backing up my music on an external hard drive just to kind of be safe.
Yeah.
And I didn't copy it. I moved it. So
as
and
soon
I
as
didn't
you unplug
realize,
the drive.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And the funny thing is, I did it and packed all of my stuff up to leave for tour. So I didn't discover it until I got on stage to play. And it was just kind of like, okay, that's missing. Okay, that's missing. By the time I got to the fourth one, I was like, uh-oh, I'm going to be in trouble. So I made my way through it and then just really started putting stuff back together.
Because you're the man you are, with all your experience in DJing, let's get it right from the top. A tip for using DJ software that you've learned from that experience.
Well, you have to be very, very careful and pay attention. I think I was moving too fast. I was doing like 3 things at one time and didn't really pay attention. But always back your music up. It's from when I was carrying records, the most important thing that a DJ owns is his records. If you lose your records, you lose everything. So, and
it's
then
the worst thing a girl can do to her ex-boyfriend is.
Oh my God! Oh, don't say that. Oh man, this is just so nerve-wracking. But you really need to kind of back your music up and back it up on an external drive and give it to your best friend. Like I've had friends of mine that had a flood in his basement and his hard drive was there and his backup. Never put your backup in your right with all your other stuff. Give it to somebody so if anything happens, your music
We
is
always
safe.
say keep one physical copy somewhere and keep one online somewhere as well. That might be a way to do it.
Yes.
With a secure password, of course. So you said something really cool. He did a Q&A session earlier. You said your job is like being a bus driver. You drive them around and show them some cool shit out the window as a DJ. You've just kind of shown us that now, but I was interested because hip hop it's a bit like cooking beans. Whatever flavors you put in, they kind of sink into it, don't they? Hip hop can really soak up whatever else you want to add to the beats. Is that what attracted you to it, or is it kind of?
Well, I think people don't understand that hip hop isn't really a form of music. Hip hop is a lyrical form over any type of music. That's why it goes with anything. Like you can do hip hop over jazz, rock, funk, soul, Brazilian, So it's people don't really understand. That's why there is a form of hip hop basically over any type of music out. Because it's not really a musical form. It's a lyrical form that's over top of any kind of music. So I think that's one of the advantages that you can make all of these turns and play all of these different styles of music and incorporate hip hop into it.
So as a DJ, is that something that, as I say, kind of attracts you to it, that keeps you in there, that kind of kind of universality of.
Yeah, I mean that has a lot to do with it. I am just a really big lover of music. Um, that I think that more than anything, um, music is a gift and a curse for me because as much as I love it and as much as a part of me, music keeps me up at night. I cannot go to sleep without humming a beat. My wife nudges me in my sleep because I'm singing. You know, I have an internal DJ that drives me crazy because he plays whatever he wants to play, and I can't get him to stop. Um, but it's just I think when music is that much of a part of you, um, it really helps. It really helps.
In fact, it's one thing that a teacher can't teach you, which is that kind of passion, that kind of internal.
Yeah, yeah.
We were talking last night about the fact that you don't actually need to be hearing music to hear music, like 24/7. You don't actually have to have anything playing. It's kind of going on whether you like it or not. Okay, so I want to talk to you a little bit about. You're 30 years in the game, right? Are you still as hungry for new music?
I'm
Are you
more.
still crate digging? Are you?
More.
How
Even more
does
now.
crate digging look for a guy like you in the digital age? You know what's
I mean, it's just files.
online? Have you got places you go?
Files, friends. SK can tell you. We do Red Bull 3 style together, and that's a really big. When you got 30 of the best DJs in the world in a room, and everybody's passing hard drives and getting music, it's great. And new music. Anytime you get new music, it gives you a little bit of an adrenaline because the cool thing about being a DJ is we know what we're going to play before you do.
That's true.
So if you start thinking 4 records down, like, okay, I'm setting you up for this, but you don't even realize I'm setting you up to pull you all the way over here. Like, that's kind of a treat. So whenever you get new music, it makes you feel like, I got it.
This is a great tip, people. Try and find a way of playing the music. I mean, I think you said earlier, no one says you played a great Drake track tonight. They say you played a great insert something inappropriate, unexpected, unusual. You can't play that. Well, I just did. So if you've got those kind of tunes, build up to them. Think about how you're going to play people to get to that point where you can play. There's some DJs that said to me, I've waited all night, half the night to play one track.
Yep.
Because I had to get everything.
Yeah, I mean, listen, like I said, that I am a avid follower and understanding that your job as a DJ is you are a public servant. Like, your job is to play music for people to enjoy. That like I said, in the 80s and the 90s, it was me first and you second. And I think from the 2000s on, it became you first and me second. Like, if I can satisfy you, I can satisfy me, and everybody goes home.
So that's a really interesting thing to say. What changed?
I just think the music, the delivery of music, the way people, the way people got it. It was a really big. In the 80s, I think it was so new. The DJ culture. It was crazy because you were going places. I remember some of the early tours that Will and I did. There were people that have never seen a DJ scratch or do a routine. So you're showing somebody something for the very first time. And I remember very early on, we did a show, and I did this crazy routine, and it was 10,000 people, and they were just standing there looking. And I was like, you have no idea what I did.
There's no context to it.
And that's when, Will and I started the whole make it sound like a bird, make it chirp. That was I have to educate the people on what you're doing for them to get it.
So that's what changed. It kind of became part of the culture. It became part of what everyone understands.
And then it was great. But then what happened is, I think when it was almost like when hip hop became super commercialized, the DJ kind of got pushed to the back. And then it was just kind of like, okay, so my job isn't for me to go out there and show off. My job now is to play music for people to just dance. Like, you were almost non-existent. And I think what ended up happening was we were pushed so far to the back that we started creating our own lane. We started realizing that people are coming to hear the records that we play. That we're, that's when we became the bus drivers. Like, oh shit, we're driving a bus. And then the culture just got so big. And then with the EDM explosion, it became global. It became everybody in every genre and every facet of music wanted to be a DJ. The rappers wanted to be DJs. The musicians wanted to be DJs because it was just this big explosion that it just it's funny because it's kind of like looking at any other genre of music over a big period of time. You watched it change. You've watched rock and roll change. You watched it go from Chuck Berry to Kiss with the big costumes to I'm wearing some jeans and a t-shirt.
That's really interesting. So DJing's evolving. That's an really interesting point, isn't it? I mean, you would never have predicted 10 years even ago.
Oh my God.
The producer DJ who's standing up, it's like a lap of honour by the time they got on the stage. They've done the hard work making the music, and it's just kind of...
That's it.
But that is as valid as what you're doing, as what anyone else is doing. But it's all changing.
All a part. It's all a part of it.
So I loved watching your style because you've got nothing to prove at your level of career, and I love watching your style because your scratching style, you let things breathe. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of space in what you do. Yeah. The kind of clock, you're literally playing with the tick of a clock.
Yeah.
And that's unusual because nowadays a lot of the time it's kind of a bit like the kind of the Jimi Hendrix guitar solo version, but with decks, and it's kind of, it goes in one direction, but you're a lot more laid back. You leave a lot more space, a lot more gaps in what you do. Is that intentional? Is that just how you did it tonight?
Well,
is that your style?
I think a lot of it is I like to look at myself like I'm a Swiss Army knife. That whatever scenario I'm put in front of, I know how to get out of. And there's a million different kind of DJs. There's a million different kind of events. And I just like to be prepared for anything. That, I have nights that I'll do 1,000 routines and go crazy. And I have nights that I may not cut or scratch once, that it's really about the play selection. You have nights that I really like that are a mixture of both. It's just being able to, I use a lot of analogies. And what I was telling somebody is being a DJ is like owning a store. And some DJs only sell one thing in their store. And then there are DJs, like myself, like SK, like a lot of the Red Bull 3 style DJs, they're Walmart. Like they're a store that sells all different kind of things. I think the thing that attracted me to a competition like Red Bull 3 style is the fact that it's set up for you to be many different things because they realize
and that's
right
kind of
now,
what it's doing different to DMC, or what DMC's changing
now
as well.
But it's funny. I love it all. One is not better than the other.
It's different.
It's different stores.
Yeah.
It's that's all it is.
Yeah, we were saying earlier that you get the sense that you're just kind of flexing your muscles a little bit when we were watching you play tonight. When you're in a big car but you haven't got your foot down, there was a real feeling of kind of I know what I'm doing here. We've taken longer than I asked for, I've got 2 or 3 questions specifically to help people starting out in this or who are trying to get somewhere in this. Is there some advice that you wish someone had given you when you were starting out? Something you realised a lot later on?
Well, you know what? It's weird because, like I said, I started pre-hip-hop. Like, I started doing block parties, and I had Confunction records, Brass Construction, Mass Production. It was a lot of funk and soul. It was records that people just partied. So it was a blessing to be there at the beginning of hip-hop to kind of catch it. Like, that was just new energy. Like, I'm playing records that my older brothers and sisters liked and I liked, and then all of a sudden someone made something specifically for me. Like, I'm like, oh my God, this is great. But it also gave you an extensive library because I still had my dad's jazz records from Wes Montgomery and Jimmy Smith to my brothers, Parliament Funkadelic and George Benson to Sugar Hill Gang and Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five. So now you have this really big pot of music that you can kind of pick from. So I didn't have, like, it was almost like I didn't necessarily have so much of a mentor because you were there in the beginning.
Yes.
That you would just kind of...
Yes, so you didn't even know if it was going to be there in 6 weeks, never mind in 30 years. It's kind of like, this is short term because
you didn't know.
The correct reaction to something new is it's going away again, right?
Yep.
So you're kind of, okay, so if something good's happening, trust that it'll still be there in a year or 5 years' time or something.
That is true.
So another question, when you see kids today doing what they do, Is there anything, and you don't have to answer this, of course, but is there anything that that you really don't like, that you see that you think, oh, if only you could rein that in or change that, or you'd be doing it for your own good? Is there anything that irritates, or that you just think you're missing a trick there?
Well, you know what it is? I think because I understand that certain things are not for everybody. I never discredit something that I don't like, because that's my opinion.
Yes.
Like, the only thing that matters to me is if it's bad. If it's bad, like, bad is universal.
Yes.
We all know when it's bad.
Yeah, you know when you see it, right?
Like, you might hear something, or somebody might do something that you don't like or you don't understand, but I'm kind of like, if there's one person out there that likes it, then my hands are off, because I don't ever want to discriminate what someone else does. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll give DJs records. I'll give DJs folders of music to listen to, because a lot of times figuring out where something came from gives you a different perspective of where you're going. And I just think, but I also understand that everybody on this planet that listens to music has a timeline.
Yes, and
it's a beginning.
Right?
It's a beginning that you can't criticize someone who's been DJing for 5 years not knowing what happened in the 80s. Like, there's a start.
But it's an interesting point, because mobile DJs now, you were starting out today as a mobile DJ, you would have to learn the big tunes from the 50s to today. You couldn't do that job. So, so you're saying that an education is a good thing.
Oh, absolutely.
While respecting the fact that everyone is born at a certain time and you can't go back in time.
Yeah.
An education is important, as you had from your family's records at the beginning.
That's it.
What is this is my final question. If you could pick one thing about today, 2017, right now, what is the one thing that's really inspiring you, that really you think, wow, this is new, this is good, anything you could think of? Is it, it could be anything. It could be an artist, could be equipment, could be a sound, could be a style.
What I love? There was a statement that most DJs made maybe about 12 years ago, that I'm not a jukebox. Like, I'm not a jukebox. I don't take requests. And I understand that I'm not a jukebox. But what I do realize is today, people who listen to music, the only people who listen to music in playlist form on their phone or on their iPods are DJs. Everyone else listens to music random. So, all of the stuff that you got on your phone, from Biggie to Linkin Park to Third Eye Blind to Ed Sheeran, plays all over the place. It plays not in a playlist form. Biggie will come on, then Ed Sheeran will come on. That enables DJs to play like that.
I hear what you're saying.
It enables DJs to be able to go all over the place.
It gives people a random backdrop, which then the DJ can...
And I realized that all really came from people on their phones or on their iPod. So when DJs are kind of like, I'm not an iPod, I have to thank the iPod for allowing our palette to grow.
That's a great,
what we play.
Great analogy. So it's kind of been death to boring beat mixing, and thumbs up to complete. Anything goes. But I guess that what the DJ can introduce is context that a random playlist cannot have. So there's your difference between the DJ and the random playlist.
And everything doesn't go together.
No.
Everything doesn't go together. I mean, just because this tastes good and this tastes good.
But when it happens. You know when it happens on a random playlist, don't you? And you think, I could never have thought of that. I could never have thought of that.
Yeah.
Jazzy Jeff, thank you very much for your time. You had more of your time than I asked for, and I'm very thankful for it. Thanks, man.
Thank you.